That's how you can meet a compromise and a balanced approach to finding happiness. Maslow's pyramid of needs breaks down the fundamental human needs that we all have. It has the more primal physiological needs on bottom and the more spiritual intellectual needs at the top. For example, we have the needs for food, water, oxygen, and sleep at the bottom. And the more spiritual mental needs at the top, like social justice, equality, and creativity. This is important because it breaks down the priority that we have as humans in order to survive. If we're too busy struggling to buy food, we're not going to worry about the higher needs on this pyramid. Once we've met the needs at the bottom of the pyramid, we strive for the higher ones. A lot of our happiness and satisfaction comes when we acquire these needs. Here's an example. How many of you have been angry when you're really hungry? But once you eat, you start feeling happy again. That dopamine in your body kicks in because you've acquired a fundamental need. Same thing applies to the higher tiers on the pyramid. If you've ever felt like you've been part of a family, it fulfills one of these needs. So now that we've established that a lot of our happiness comes from fulfilling these needs, what does that mean? In order to fully understand happiness, though, there are also two other time delay factors involved. One is how long it takes to acquire these needs, and two, how long happiness lasts once we acquire these needs. If it's a very fundamental need, like rest, it's easily acquired. We have to block out some time, maybe. We don't have to make a lot of sacrifices to get some rest. In addition, the payoff for that rest is very quick. We feel happy once we wake up, but it doesn't last that long. In fact, some of us, right after a long nap, want to go back to sleep. We're quickly driven to want to reacquire and refill these needs. Same thing with food, for example. If you're hungry, you want to eat as quickly as possible. Relatively speaking, acquiring something to fill your stomach is not that difficult. For example, a bag of ramen costs $0.25. But once you've eaten that ramen, it doesn't take long before you're hungry again. So you have that urge to refill that need to acquire more food. Now on the higher tier of the pyramid, like creativity, you have a need to create something. It takes a long time to create something that you're satisfied with. However, once you've created it, that happiness lasts for a long time. You feel accomplished every time you see that piece of work. So the payoff for the higher tiers lasts a long time. There is a catch with this though, is that some of these higher tier items are impossible to complete. For example, social justice is something you could fight for, but you will never achieve complete social justice. Therefore, you have to find your own goalposts to meet in order to feel happy and accomplished whenever you meet those goals. In fact, if you think about it, it applies to every single tier in this pyramid. You dictate how much food is enough for you. You dictate how much water you need. You dictate how much creativity you can express. What that tells us is that you set your own goals for happiness. The only thing that's limiting you is how quickly you can attain it and how long it lasts. If you want to know how long it lasts and how quickly you can acquire it, check out where on this pyramid it stands. The acquisition of any of these needs aren't a bad thing. Excessively depending on one of them is. It makes you reliant on just one tier of access for your happiness. You have to find a balanced acquisition of all these needs. How do you balance your needs though? Because if you're so busy struggling for food, how do you worry about the upper tiers? Why would you even want to? You've experienced this. Let's say rent was due on a Wednesday and you had to pay it, and you don't get paid again until Friday. So what do you do on Thursday? You have to eat as cheaply as possible because you don't have that much money. You can eat ramen for 20 cents. So that's what you gotta do until you get paid again on Friday. You've sacrificed the excesses of a lower tier in order to meet the higher tier of safety and security of having a home. And conflict between couples generally occur when there's a discrepancy between which tier the couple is on. For example, if one partner wants to meet up with friends and family after work, but the other partner wants to sleep and rest, there's a discrepancy there between which tier they're on. The partner that wants to go out wants to meet the needs of friends and family and social interaction. That's higher than the tier that the other partner is on, where they just want to rest, which is a physiological need. There has to be a compromise between the two in order for them to meet an agreement. One way to meet an agreement between the two is to approach it the same way the previous problem was. They could shave off the excess of the lower level needs in order to meet the needs of the higher tier ones. So, in the previous example, you had to shave off the excess of the lower level needs and eat ramen instead of eating something fancy, so that you can meet the higher tiers of having a shelter home and feeling secure. The second example, you would meet this by not resting completely. You would shave off some hours or minutes of that rest. Let's say you take a nap for 20 minutes, and then you go out with friends and family and interact with them. This is a sacrifice of the excess of the lower level tier needs in order to meet the higher level tiers. You want your partner to feel happy. You want to meet with friends and family and interact with them. These needs provide happiness on a longer time scale than the lower level ones do. That's how you can meet a compromise and a balanced approach to finding happiness. Now, this doesn't work for every situation and it doesn't work for everybody, but it's a guideline for you to find balanced happiness and perhaps argue a little less with your significant other. I'm Dr. Tang. Never give up on yourself.